Yeah, I'm on the right channel now. Hello everyone. Welcome to a new stream with Reginald Cosmic. I said it was Reginald Conga last time. That's my old username. Joining me today is just Shawnee Productions. Say hello, Sean Y Production.
Hey guys, Sean Y Productions here. It's time for more gaming Mario 64.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'm hoping the controller works because I did test the button A, but I didn't test like
There it is.
in a field or nothing because I was kind of short on time doing this.
Mm.
Actually, we should probably make sure we're live first. Let me see.
Oh
Yeah, I'm
yep, we're
live.
live.
Mark is here. Hello. He says
Mark Moore's
E.
already there. He says E.
Yeah, he says E. That's his
Says E.
famous catchphrase.
E says he.
He says he. I forgot to
Once
mute
we get
my
on the
laptop.
stream.
How do I mute this? Here we go. I muted the other laptop. It's like it's all on one desk, so it doesn't matter. Let's go ahead and play some Mario 64.
Greetings.
Yeah, greetings. So I love how in Mario 64 you start with 5 lives and it's counting 0 as a life because they're cheapskate like that. And I had like a bunch earlier. Yeah, the controller's acting weird still.
They did that in Galaxy too. When you reset
Yeah,
the game.
yeah, I hate doing it because I like getting 99 stars in Galaxy 1 and 2. I started with 2 and then I didn't start with 2, but I originally got to 99 lives with 2. Anyway,
Weirdly
let's
though, I think you do keep your lives in Sunshine, right?
oh sure, I know.
Yeah, I don't know. Because I remember in
I hope Wolf
when
doesn't
it
show
first
up to
started
hear this,
making
but I
them,
still haven't
I was
played the game and figured out like how to beat the first like non-tutorial level.
what,
Because like
Sunshine?
you chase after Bowser Jr. as Shadow Mario,
Oh
and
yeah.
it's just such a pain in the ass if you don't know the controls, and it's so complicated compared to like this game or even
Yeah.
like Mario Galaxy. I don't know why people say Mario Galaxy is so complicated for like newcomer. Well, for
Not.
newcomers of course, but obviously, but like I was like 10 when I played that game. Yeah, 10, maybe 11.
Yeah.
I just clicked with it immediately, and I know that's because I played a lot of, well, I don't know about many games. Anyway, let's go ahead and start going through the
Freaking lava
Red Hot
place.
Log Rolling.
Red hot log rolling.
Let's get right into it. You know what? Fuck the log rolling. I should probably put a "not for dumb babies" in the title of the chat stream. Is it weird I usually like ground pound these guys to make them fall off? I used to think that was like the only
No,
way
they
for
do
some
that
reason.
sometimes as well. They do that sometimes as well.
Fuck red hot logs. Let's go into the volcano here. First one up. Gotta get those lives back up, baby.
Baby.
The secret. I hate how the camera is in this particular part of the game. Little pain in the ass, especially if you're going for the 100 coin fucking mission in here. It's so fucking hard to do the 100 coin.
Yeah.
It's because I'm trying to concentrate and not get myself killed. It's because I'm like it has a checkpoint, which is normally nice because you don't get many checkpoints in these games. But for some reason,
it's pretty crazy.
yeah, for some reason it like doesn't count. Well, I know why they don't count the coins you died after you. Anyway, the point is, it doesn't tally your coins. So you have to start over, but you're in the volcano, so there's physically no way you can get the 100 coins. So I just knocked that bully into the... Can you see what's going on, Sean?
Yeah, you just... Is that the lava waterfall? Why is it called Super Mario 64 Second Night? Is this like Five Night Freddy?
I just fell off completely. That sucks.
Oops.
It's because
Spoiler.
this is the second day this is like stream number 2, but I didn't want to call it part 2 because
Yeah.
I felt like I don't want to
Cool.
number them like that because like Tyler sometimes like you know Tyler, right? I talk to him a lot on Twitter.
Yeah,
Well, he's quit Twitter now, but anyway, he he used to do these streams and it would like cut out because the internet. Well, I'm dead. Oh, thank goodness. I thought I was gonna take fall damage on top of the lava damage. You know. I got a story to tell about my trip to Walmart today.
Oh boy, now that sounds exciting. Mark says the
I
fire
am
spirits
dead.
were like... Again, spoiler alert.
Volcano Valley Zone. Yeah,
From
Mark.
Mario 3D Blast.
So this is what I'm talking about. It doesn't save any coins you did, but it saves the fact that you're in the volcano. So if you were going for the 100 coin, not the 100 coin, yeah, the 100 coin mission.
Yeah, that there's some parts in this game that like they're like
Do
separate
a checkpoint, but hardly anyone
in the worlds.
Yeah, it is weird.
It's really only just like separate areas. Like I think that like the slides do it as well. Or,
yeah, they do. I think
maybe just the one in Tall Mountain.
I'm trying to remember how many slides there are in this game.
There's Princess Secret Slide, the one in Cool Mountain.
Well, I think it doesn't matter. There's a checkpoint in Princess's Slide because you.
Yeah.
It would be like
it just puts you out in the castle, I believe, if you fall off.
At least I didn't get killed or burned alive or whatever.
Times, but like, why is it called Peach's Princess Secret Slide? Does she like slide on it all the time for fun?
Oh boy, this is taking a while. Because I can't move the fucking camera. I am dead.
I am dead. I have deceased.
That last part is so hard with I don't know what it is. I'm just not doing it well today because I've done it before, no problem. Maybe my controllers give out.
Yup.
Oh boy. This is a heart container? Oh, how kind of you. You know, just...
Heart container? Like a Zelda?
Not Zelda. Oh, fuck me. I fell off because my... Dude, controller, do something, controller! It stopped registering the one direction I needed. Look, I'm down to 4 lives, counting 0. I think the 0 lives thing is because of computers. They start counting at 0. So, like, the first entry in every list is 0. Number 0.
Mark says, if you had a super secret slide in the wall of your house, wouldn't you ride it all the time? I mean, yeah.
I think I wouldn't because I would like fall off and kill myself.
Yeah, it seems a little unsafe.
It's like a health code violation, man.
Fucking get.
We were talking about that at Walmart today. We saw someone had put back some meat in the aisle that was especially for oh gosh, I'm gonna die again. It was especially for bleach and shit. And we talked about how it was a health code violation. We hoped someone would like throw the chicken away, but they probably wouldn't.
Then you said, I hope somebody got fired for that blunder.
Yeah. Well, it was probably a customer, but you know how, you know, the store probably doesn't give a fuck when people get poisoned from bleach.
Oh. Damn, says a lot about Walmart.
Yeah, that's why you go to Target. We don't have a Target around here.
That's their slogan. Go to Target. We won't poison you with bleach.
Oh gosh, I hope you got that conversation on the tape. It's like that Celebrity Jeopardy thing where they're like, are we recording this?
Did we get that on the videotape?
Yeah, because someone got a question right on Celebrity Jeopardy. It was like a whole thing, or... I don't know.
I'm sure, is that uncommon?
No, it was a parody on SNL. SNL hasn't been funny in like
Oh yeah.
about a century. Do you give me a
A
star? I can't.
century.
No, it was the Toad in the other room that gave me a star. Yeah. People are always saying that SNL used to be funny, but the thing about that is that it implies that like it was never funny because like people you have to go back and back and back. Should I drain the moat now? Should I? What does Tyler think of this? Tyler, are you in the chat? Do you want me to drain the moat now or wait a little while? I think he'd want me to drown the. I think he'd want me to.
I thought you were just gonna say. I think he'd want me to drown.
Yeah. That reminds me of this like clip from Some Call Me Johnny on Super Gaming Brothers or whatever. He was all like, it was fuck me, what was it again? Oh yeah, he was in Angel Island Zone and he said, you know, I've never really heard the drowning music in Angel Island before because they were playing his Knuckles and his brother was about to drown and he was like, don't you fucking drown, get out of there! It was really funny to me for some reason. No, it was because he was gonna die. He was like embarrassed about it or something. Should I do the Vanish Cap now? I guess I'll do the Vanish Cap now. I think there's the Vanish Cap.
I kind of hate the
Look at my live count. Oh, yeah, never mind. This is the one that gives you like a bunch of free lives all at once. If I can remember which path to take. Did I forget I can't get up there. Get me up there, damn it!
I'm very bad at doing platforming in this here platformer. Mark says more of a food line guy myself. What's food line?
Food line is trying to think. Did I miss a coin? I feel like I did. Yeah, I missed a coin. Oh, time to die. I whiff styled. I used the ground pound. Yeah, Food Line is like a grocery store. I don't know if you've heard of them.
I have never heard of them. I'm sure we probably don't have them in New York.
Damn it, I missed a coin again.
Name for a grocery store.
Oh, time to kill myself.
Well.
Yeah, I really fucked up there. I keep fucking up for some reason. This so streams all wrong. No. Is there a mushroom over here? No, there isn't. Just wasted some time. Fucking hell. This is hard. I always have trouble with this Vanish Cap level. It's probably because I never did it as a kid because I didn't know how to... Is this even in the DS remake?
I actually don't know.
So I know they like made Metal Mario like specific to Wario, I think.
Yeah, like Vanish Cap is specific to Luigi.
Oh yeah, it's Luigi because of that Wario level where you unlock him. Well, I'm trying to remember.
Vanish Cap.
Hold on, I gotta pause and see how many coins I got.
Okay, it is in DS, but the course was retitled The Secret Under the Moat, and the cap switch was removed. However, a second power star was added, so there's actually more to it.
Yeah, there are 150, something like that. I think there's 150 stars, and
yeah, there's 150, so they added like 30 extra stars. I've never gotten all the stars. Yeah, I have never gotten all the stars in 64 DS.
I've never gotten all the stars in this game, dude. Have you seen some of the poopy ones? I've never even bothered in what was it? What was that level? The one that unlocks when you get Dire Dogs. I've never even bothered with that one.
Oh yeah, I used to be one of those. You know, like, oh man, this game has so many poopy stars. But recently, I don't know, I've just adjusted to its bullshit and kind of like it now.
I hope I get
So
this.
I have gotten all the stars like 3 times at this point in the original Mario 64.
Well, I fucked up right at the end.
Yep.
Did you see that motion? At least I'm ranking up lives for later. Get out of my way. I know how the vanish cap works, okay? It's just that I don't have any enemies to test it on.
Yeah, Mark, I have heard of Stop and Shop, but I don't think there's that many near me.
I heard of Piggly Wigglies, and we passed by there one day, and I was like, oh, look, a Piggly Wigglies! I was so proud to have encountered it. Yeah, it's like the first grocery store ever. They called it that because I think it's actually a mystery of mankind why he named it that. He must have done some acid or something. Dude did a bunch of assault
with him and Moby. Why did they call it Piggly Wigglies?
Yeah, like, what the hell? Yeah, it's specifically this direction on the joypad. The joystick. It's like that video, that gif of, like, Batman going, this is where I watch my parents... No, he says, this is where I watch my parents die, Raphael, and then he's like, parents, and they're like, parents.
Yeah, that used to... I remember that was, like, a joke in, like, when, you know, the whole gang, you, me, and Guy had, like, our older group chat. The fucking Parnets. Yeah. Anytime anybody made a typo, we just said Parnets.
Yeah. Look, it's a red coin. Gosh, this fucking controller. I hope that new one arrives soon.
We did it.
Alright, Button, it's time for you to get squashed. Like I squashed you in that, I don't know, that Mario 64 video. Mario World video. There, I fucking did it.
What?
These switches right here from Super Mario World. Super Mario 64 came out after Super Mario World, and that's why it borrows some things from it.
Piggly Wiggly and Piggly Wiggly Midwest. Well, they have
I got the fucking star.
Yeah,
we've been ignoring. I've been ignoring the chat. The slider theme is one of my favorite themes of the Mario series. Yeah, it is. It's really good. Have you ever wished? While Tyler's not here, I gotta talk about Deltarune. Have you ever listened to The World Revolving with the fucking Super Mario World slide whistle? I don't know.
Whistle. Yeah, I think
it's a slide whistle. What are you booing me for? I'm right.
It's not a slide whistle.
Yeah, but it's a whistle that you hear on a slide.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, there is whistling in the song. So
yeah, it's the main melody.
Yeah. So that's a slide whistle, yeah.
I gotta adjust to this joystick. I should have waited until I got the joystick. The new controller in the mail.
It looks like the most Piggly Wigglies are in Alabama. They have 100+ locations there.
That's insane. Cool.
Yeah. I'm surprised I haven't seen any since I have family in Alabama.
Hold on, let me see if I got... Okay, I got plenty of stars collecting Womp's Fortress. Let's actually do the owl one now.
Reg has a point. Okay, fine, he does have a point.
Let's not even bother collecting any coins. Let's just get this owl. I like how I've stabbed myself with the tree.
Oh, the owl. Good old...
Yeah, the owl from, what was it? Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, the asshole who... Wait a minute, this is the wrong owl.
Wait, wrong owl?
I had a whole comedy routine prepared for him. It was gonna be the funniest thing in the world.
Fucking comedy routine, like you were gonna go on the fucking stage and do stand-up. So how about that owl from Mario 64?
Yeah, I've joked about, like, I think I've joked about, like, it wasn't my joke, but it was like the one where, like, Seinfeld goes crazy and he starts talking about Sonic 06.
I want to see that.
What's the deal with Sonic 06? Where's that fucking owl? I need another one.
Go back to the tree.
Get back here, you stupid owl. I need to ride you so I can get that star. I need to save Peach. She's not gonna save herself. This isn't the fucking 2020s where women can save themselves from a castle.
Like,
I
what's
fell
the
and I
deal?
killed that
What's loading
piranha
screen?
plant. I like that Steamed Hams edit. Actually, I kind of hate it, but the Steamed Hams edit where like the dude just put a bunch of Sonic 06 loading screens and made a thumbnail and called it a day. Didn't bother with it. Didn't bother with doing any fancy bullshit. Would have been too much work for.
Didn't even have any like music or sound effects from Sonic 06.
No, it was just the loading screens with silence, and that's why. He said the joke was that now you know how it feels to play Sonic 06. Oh, I'm gonna die. This is hard. This is like deceptively hard. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It feels like it'd be so easy to just jump on that.
It does.
Cage.
And then it just like drops you in some random direction.
I don't get it.
And you're like, I don't want to go there.
Like, no, Mario, that's not where I told you to jump.
Come on, Mario,
Get your shit
jump!
together.
I give up.
What are you referencing now?
The Mario 64 Got Milk commercial.
Oh, yeah.
The kid is like, come on, Mario, jump. Come on, Mario.
There, I got
give
the...
up.
Damn, that stream really is behind.
And then Mario
See what Mark has to
fucking-
say. Nothing. He didn't talk to
Then
more.
Mario jumps out of the TV and drinks all your
Yeah, I know
milk.
what you're talking about.
I know. I hope that happens in the stream. Because it's
I'll
honestly
get-
my favorite
Let's
part.
go get Did I fuck up the audio here? Okay, good. I was afraid I fucked it up because it told me that like the volume went down. It said 64% volume or whatever. Well, actually, it just says 64, and it assumes that I know that it means out of 100.
I really hope that happens in the stream. That's my favorite part of the game, Mario stealing your milk.
Yeah, it's a really good.
Really good moment.
Yeah, Mario just is an asshole and steals your milk. It's really. It's like the video game equivalent of the Godfather scene where they're like, look at how they massacred my boy. Damn it, I didn't mean to get into this canon. I just fucked up.
Look at how they
Whatever, I'll
stole
do
my,
this mission.
my boy's milk.
Hold on, I gotta figure out how to get up there.
Just
That
angle it
didn't
all
work
the
as
way up.
planned.
All
No,
the
I know
way
how to
up
do
and
it,
then
I
turn
just,
down a little
I
bit.
second guessed myself.
Mhm.
I can do it,
What I do is I just angle it all the way up and then point it down a little bit.
No, I think you can, you just have to, I don't know. Well, let me actually, is there a way to get out of the cannon now?
Nope. You gotta shoot.
Well, at least I didn't lose any health. Let me see if I can do it. I want to prove to myself that I can do it. Where's Koopa the Quick? I want to dance on his corpse. There's actually a guy there. Did you see that video where the guy proved that it's not Koopa the Quick over here? Because of like some Japanese... I don't remember why. There's like a Japanese website where they told you that Koopa the Quick is not the... He is the... I think King Bob-omb is the little... the third ball that's hanging around at the bottom of the mountain here.
I don't think there's anything like that with Koopa the Quick, though.
No, it's the Koopa I just killed.
Yeah. Mark says the while ago joke about Peach not saving herself reminds me of when we watched Popeye and was like, wait, why doesn't Olive Oil just start carrying her own spinach?
Yeah, that'd be really helpful. She does do that. It's in the body shaming episode, though.
Oh, yes.
I think there's a body shaming episode where, like, Olive was fat, so she, like,
Only 40s kids remember this classic. Whenever the hell it came out.
It was probably, like, the 50s, because it was in color.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, I don't know. I think they had color TV. It wasn't color TVs. They had, like, feature films and... Not feature films,
Yeah,
the
they had
regular
those in color
films.
first, I think. What do you mean? I thought everything was black and white before they invented color.
That is the dumbest conspiracy... Not conspiracy theory, but, you know, it's like the dumbest thing ever. Why the fuck did you think...
That's not... That's not
Where do you think the
actually
color
conspiracy
came
theory,
from?
right?
It's not a
That's just something
conspiracy
that
theory.
kids
I
think.
just let's
Yeah.
actually get that thing that I was coming in here for in the first place, which is to
So like, okay, wait. In the Popeye lore, is it like only is like Popeye the only person who's able to be powered up by spinach? Or is
No,
that
there's
spinach?
I've seen the cartoons when I was younger. There's like his nephews or whatever. Sometimes his baby nephew. I think it's his nephew.
Mhm.
Hold on, I gotta go back for more health. Oh my god, I'm gonna die. Get me out of here! Get me out of here! Get me out of here! Oh, thank God. I thought I was gonna die to the chain chomp. So, I've definitely seen the baby use the spinach, and I've never seen the body shaming episode all the way through, because it was like a riff track, and I didn't feel like looking up the actual, like, cartoon without the riff track.
Wow.
I didn't find the commentary all that interesting. I just thought, you know, it was good for a click or whatever. It was worth the click. And that's okay sometimes, you know, you just click on a video, you get like 5 minutes of enjoyment out of it. It's alright. There we go, I got him. He thanks me by opening up that cage, but in the I assume in Mario 64 DS, I assume that Luigi has to get back there with a minus cap.
I
actually don't know.
Still just do the chain chomp thing, right?
Oh, sure, I know. Maybe it's like maybe it's like that penguin. Maybe it's like the penguin in level. Oh gosh, what was it? The second snow level, the one upstairs. Like if you can either like position yourself behind the penguin, like go like this, and then you go back low, and you keep going, and then he goes fast, or you can just ride its head.
Yeah, the chain chomp gate in DS it's still the same, but
I thought you were gonna tell me. I thought you were gonna tell me that you've never heard of that ability to ride the penguin.
Wait, what?
The penguin. You know know that little part where like you're trying to get up the snowman's top of the head, and you have to move. The way you're supposed to do it without the secret is to go forward a little bit at a time as the penguin is walking. So you'll go back and forth, and then you eventually end up on the other side, and then he walks back, and... Well, what you can actually do is you can jump on the penguin's head and ride the penguin's head and not get blown over.
You can ride on his head?
Yeah, you can jump and ledge grab its head.
Oh,
Tyler used to think it was the legitimate method, and I'm like, no, I think that's the secret method. Or it's
that's the secret
Easter egg accidentally. I think I want the coins first.
Definitely has powered up from spinach before, even Olive in a couple cases. Like, if Bluto is naturally that much stronger than Popeye, if he ate spinach, he'd be unstoppable.
I like that, did I ever tell you about the spinach, the super spinach Saiyan stuff from, Dragon Ball Z?
No. I like
it was on that wiki.
Lore connoisseurs.
No, it wasn't the Popeye wiki. It was a different wiki. I'm not gonna take the penguin yet, but I do want the red coins. Did I get all the coins here? I hope I did. So anyway, well, I fucked that up. Hope I didn't screw myself out of all the coins. Oh, I probably did. Shit. It was like, Gogeta is fighting Broly, but it's the Z version of Broly from Dragon Ball Z, and he's like, he needs a power boost, so Broly uses the spinach, and his hair turns green, and it becomes the Super Spinach Saiyan. I've never posted that online, but it's funny as fuck. Trust me.
You should.
Dragon Ball, but they use Popeye's... Dude, I forgot there was an actual, like, Popeye skit where, like, it's like who can beat Superman, and everyone's getting their asses kicked, including the whole world, for some reason.
The whole world? As in, like, the Earth?
Yeah, like a globe.
Oh, really?
No, it's like a tiny globe, and it represents the whole world, but it gets beaten by Superman. And then finally, Popeye shows up, and he beats the shit out of Superman, and he goes home.
Was Goku
before he
in
fucked
there?
his... Yeah, Goku was in there. He lost.
And he lost, but Popeye won? Amazing.
Yeah, it's a joke. Have you ever heard of a joke before? Gosh.
No, I haven't. What the hell's a joke?
I used to think you could only jump on these guys, and then I found out this flower thing. I'm dead. I wasn't gonna get it
I'm
anyway.
dead. I like you announce I'm dead every time it happens, so
Oh,
want
it's
me to stay in
Tyler.
suspense with the
Long
shambling.
story, but I am here, but can't talk for a little bit. That's good, Tyler. I just want you
Hi,
to.
Tyler.
Tyler, do you mind if I tell a story, like pause the game and tell a story about Walmart real quick? I think he already knows about this actually, but because I showed it to him.
Tell me the Walmart story.
Let
This
me
is gonna
set the
be
stage for you. So we got
one
like
that your
five hundred
grandkids are
dollars.
gonna want to hear.
We got like $500 worth of. Let me actually adjust the audio. Jesus. How do I? It's really loud for some reason. I don't know what to do. Hope that wasn't too loud. I hope you guys didn't get your ears bleeding or anything.
Mm.
So I was at Walmart. We got like $500 of groceries in the cart. Mom says, "Hey, we need a second cart so we can like put the groceries that are in the bag after they've been bagged into the cart." So I went over and I got a cart from the top of the the front of the store, and I filled them up with some Coke so it wouldn't look like I was just using a cart and having nothing in it. We did put some other stuff
Mm.
in there. Anyway, so I walked back with the cart to where the produce is and where the meat counter is, and all at once I saw it and I yelled out, "Super Nintendo Chalmers!" It was this shirt. Let me see if it'll pull up for you, Sean. It's this shirt. It's Ralph Wiggum as the I had to take his picture. I
What?
had to take his picture. In the show, in the show, Ralph Wiggum is finally learning with a computer with phonics on it, and he says, "Hi, Principal Skinner. Hi, Super Nintendo Chalmers." Instead of Super Nintendo
Yeah.
Chalmers. It's brilliant wordplay. I thought it was the funniest thing ever to
Yeah.
put on a shirt. It's so cool.
I, f- I kind of forgot that they actually said that in the show, but like I mean
Yeah.
obviously they did.
Yeah, it was
So like
really
you
funny.
actually you saw that shirt in Walmart?
Yeah, it was a guy wearing it. I had to take his picture. That's not his picture, but he's not the Invisible Man. I would have noticed. I would have been like, I
He's
would have
not
shit my
the
pants if he was invisible. But yeah,
he's the fucking invisible guy.
I took a picture of just the shirt because I didn't want to be a creep and like photograph the whole, make a scene out of Walmart.
Oh,
But
okay.
I
Yeah.
did yell out Super Nintendo Chalmers, and I parked the cart, and I promptly went over and I'm like, "Can I take your picture?" He said, "Yeah." So I took his picture with my phone, and I got it on my phone. I'm really proud of it. Mark's like, "I need this." Yeah, Mark is really funny. Yeah.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of like when I was at work recently. This kid came in who was just wearing a Shadow the Hedgehog t-shirt and like red and black pajama pants, and I was
Don't
like,
act
"Damn,
like I didn't
that's it."
just buy a Shadow the Hedgehog shirt from this. Well, what was it called again?
Yeah.
Shirt Punch or something? Anyway, go ahead, continue your story. I'm sorry.
I was like, "That was basically it." I was like, "That's drip."
Strip the pajamas and whatever. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah. Who gives a fuck? Yeah, Sean, who gives a fuck about your story?
No, I meant like Shadow would be like,
Yeah.
who gives a flying fuck? And then Sega found out that there was like gonna be a E10 for everyone 10 and up fucking thing.
So
Oh,
you're
I fucked
telling
that
me
up.
before they learned about E10, they were gonna have in the game Shadow say like, "Who gives a flying fuck?"
No, it wasn't like an actual F bomb. I was exaggerating, but they did have even more
Yeah.
swearing than they actually put in the game.
Yeah.
There was a lot of
Even
swearing in the
more.
game for some reason. I love that game. It's so good.
Really?
You haters just don't. No, Sean, it's not actually good. I just like it. It gives my brain dopamine. Okay.
That's fair.
I like how Mario gets
It's
stuck
pretty
in the
cool.
snow sometimes. Kind of cool.
Plays a little bit. It's
Where's
not
that other
terrible.
coin? Did I already get it? I'm trying to remember. I got that one. I'm trying to get up to the teleportation area. where you like teleport over here back to the top. It's actually kind of ingenious level design.
Yeah.
Hope I don't die on the
you know
way to
about
this
that,
to the bottom of this
otherwise you're-
mountain.
I hope you know
You're
about
basically
that, otherwise
fucked if
you're
you don't
fucked.
get them all in one go.
Mm.
Well, I didn't get to the area that's like over yonder, but I wonder if I can get all. No, I don't. I can't get all the coins this run to come back or like not do it. I don't give a fuck about the 100 coin missions unless they're easy. Except for one, I gotta defeat the Bob-omb Battlefield 100% that level. In addition to what was it?
I gotta
Swamp's
defeat the Bob on
Fortress.
Battlefield. As if you're gonna fight the level itself in like a fist fight.
Hold on a minute, I gotta get this coin here. It's real hidden.
A real hidden coin.
Oh, I got hit.
That one. Of course.
Of course! You know, the Nostalgia Critic meme.
Not really.
It was, I don't know what movie it was from. I think it was from Street Fighter. It was a really old meme before Nostalgia. I keep forgetting Nostalgia Critic got canceled, and now it's not cool. Yeah, there's a bunch of memes like that. I think the last coin is over here.
I think I know what you're talking about now. It's like in the movie, this guy's like, of course!
Yeah, he used it a lot for a while there. Make sure you get this guy, how do I get out of this, purgatory? I'm stuck behind the
Mark
fucking
says,
tree.
A Shadow the Hedgehog fan and a Bubsy fan walk into a stream.
Yeah, that's funny. He's the Bubsy fan, by the way.
Yes, I know.
Oh, god
And
damn
then,
it. I fucked up because the tree glitched me out. I swear. You saw that, right? I was trying to get out of the tree. And then I slid and I...
So they walk into a stream and then they're like, oh man, I got my shoes all wet.
I don't get it.
A stream, like a river.
Oh... Did Mark say that? I'm surprised he didn't say that because it was, No, man. You can't lie to me like that. I thought Mark made a really good pun.
No, that was me.
You disappoint me.
Sorry, Mark. I disappoint you because I made a good pun? It's not even...
I was just trying to go with the flow, man. Brush and floss, Kyle. Where's that finger been, Kyle?
What?
South Park.
Oh, yes.
Oh, there's that last coin. It's underneath there. I need to get it after a while. I knew it was somewhere like that. I have to. It's actually over there that I just passed by. I am hungry as fuck. I should have eaten before I started the stream, but you know, I taken my Adderall and I thought that was enough. Get here, you mushroom. Did you know that, like, if you spell Goomba the wrong way, it's a slur? Against, like,
Really?
specifically Italians? Sean, that is real.
Is it real?
It was in The Simpsons also, but, like, I guess it was at a time when people thought it was okay. It's like, the word for fortune teller now, it's like, It starts with a G and it makes a J sound, but it's not age appropriate anymore. It's like a real hardcore slur.
Yeah.
You shouldn't say it anymore, but it's in this song from Friendship is Witchcraft that's really fucking banger. It almost moved me to tears because it was so beautiful, but also so sad.
It's weird. I know. I heard that word is not very appropriate anymore.
I heard it was a slur. I don't know if it's...
I kind of confused it for a second, and I thought that the word hippie was a slur now, which I don't think it is, right?
No, it isn't. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we could all stand to be a little kinder to ourselves, but I think we shouldn't expand the category of slur too much.
Yeah.
Because then, like,
Yeah,
when you start calling things like boomer a slur, it's like, holy shit, I almost killed myself. When you start calling things like boomer a slur, it devalues what a slur actually is, and you start to sound like a jackass.
Mhm.
because you're belittling an actual like problem in the world. Uh, what else can I tell you? There's something I thought of on the way home. I can't remember what it was though.
Mark says, Super Mario 64 tree. I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees. The trees say die. Glitches Reg off the level.
I fucked up again. I gotta go back and get back down there.
Time to go slide.
Did you know most of this soundtrack is like one song, but like then you have stuff like I wonder if I can get over there. I probably shouldn't risk
Yeah,
it.
a lot of
No,
Mario
I no,
games do
I
that.
yeah, it's like Mario World for sure, but I find
Mario World,
I find it weird that
Sunshine.
there's one song that's different. It's Bowser in Dark World. Excuse me.
I mean,
It's
there's a few
Bowser in
others.
Dark World, and it's it became the Melee theme. People thought people on this did you know gaming channel back when it was just using Wikipedia, they thought it was like some obscure Japanese game, but it was actually like an actual Nintendo game. It was this one, Bowser in Dark World. That became the Melee theme because it sounds just like it. It's just that it's in a major key instead of a minor key. Fucking hell! Get me up! Get me! No! No! Please God! Anything but this! No! No!
Wait, are you talking about the Bowser level theme? I don't remember that being in Melee.
No! It's the main theme of Melee. It's
Oh, the
just that
main theme?
it's in a different key or some shit. I don't know all the musical terminology, but it's literally just Bowser in Dark World.
Huh. That's interesting.
No, I'm not kidding. I'll go and I'll go get the. If you can turn on the volume to the stream, you probably can't. Now that I think about it, but I'll play it for Mark and he'll be the judge because he actually knows about music. Mark, go look up the Melee theme. Right, hold on a second. I gotta read the chat. There's a lot of nicknames and character names from back in the day that are kind of from weird origins. Maybe actually came from a derogatory, oh my god, Japanese term for cops. Holy shit!
Holy shit!
It's kind of like
I feel like
I've heard that
so like
Hawaiians like have a word for foreigners as like derogatory, but you can't call it a
so wait
slur because that would be like.
If an American made Mappy, would he be a pig?
I'm trying to process this joke and play the game at the same time. You gotta cut me some slack here.
Okay. I was gonna say
mushroom. You owe me the mushroom, damn it.
Yeah. On the topic of Mario games that use the same melody for like almost every song, there's also Mario World and Sunshine, and also
Mario World.
2, six golden coins.
I love Wario. I'm not a big fan of that game though.
Damn. Yeah,
Hold on
it's
a
little.
second.
I mean, it's pretty good. For the game.
I don't know about if I actually like it that much because it's like it's not that it's hard. It's just that I don't get very lucky with the extra lives, like from the mini game and shit. I end up like losing everything, and like if I lose everything, I get a game over, and I have to go collect the coins again, which isn't. It's not like starting over from scratch, but it is a little annoying to like fight the bosses again, and there's 6 of them and shit. What did Mark say?
Yeah, pig, copper, probably similar to that. Those aren't that derogatory. I mean, okay, I'm not a cop, so
No, it's not. It's not. It's I think in Japanese, it's like you're trying to translate something one for one, but it doesn't have probably a Japanese translation. I don't know.
Yeah, every fan sub creator or whatever says.
Yeah, it's like the Yu-Gi-Oh Season 0 anime back when it was all about the violence of different games and stuff. I could go on for a long time about that, but
Oh boy, Yu-Gi-Oh.
they keep saying bastard, and I'm not sure what word they're using. It's like it sounds almost like it almost sounds like Sada or something. I don't know. I'm like,
Yeah, there's like, isn't the Sonic X Japanese version a lot
yeah,
more
they say shit.
vulgar? They say
They say
shit. Yeah, they
shit.
do.
Even and Sonic says shit at one point in episode 2.
And I was like,
Where the
holy fuck.
No, they don't say fuck. I don't
Sonic,
think. I wonder if the
Sonic the
Japanese has
Boomerang.
an English equivalent of fuck.
I mean, they probably do.
I don't know. I think a German does for some reason.
What do you mean for some reason?
I'm trying to figure out where that last coin is, 'cause I can't remember. I think it was over here. Is this where the last coin is? I think it's down there. Shiza, I can't get over there.
Shiza.
Yeah, that's the German word for shit.
Yeah, I
They
know.
put
I
it in my
remember,
vocabulary recently.
One of my friends when I was in like elementary school told me that for some reason he knew that. Hey, did you know the German word for shit is Scheisse? And I was like, no way.
It's spelled with this weird B looking letter. It's not a B,
Oh yeah,
but
the
it looks like a
classic
B.
B-looking letter.
It's their own letter that's like it's
Man, my
I'm trying to
favorite
think. I'm trying to think if
favorite
there's an
letter in the
equivalent in a language
English.
that you would know. It's like it's like the one letter of the alphabet that isn't in ours or something.
Oh yeah, it's in Spanish. They have the ñ, my favorite letter.
Oh yeah, the Nye. I was trying to think.
I love
I know I was pretty sure Spanish had one like, where's that last fucking coin?
my favorite letter of the alphabet. Where's that damn fucking coin?
Yeah, it's the Nye.
I love the ñ.
I keep doing this thing where I slide like an actual fuck ton even though I'm pressing in the opposite direction.
Mark says bad influence, Sonic.
Yeah. No, it was the AVGN who taught me to curse like this.
Yeah. You know what's really funny is like when I was young, my I think my uncle who like kind of grew up with the NES showed me a little bit of AVGN and he said you should watch this when you're older.
That's funny.
So it's
Like you weren't
fun.
gonna watch it immediately after that.
Yeah, and then I probably did watch it immediately after that.
I'm trying to remember if this is the right way. Is this the way to go to the last damn coin? I think this is the right way. Yeah, that's a coin down there.
I think he showed me. I think it was like a James and Mike video where like they were playing this like bootleg. I think it was like a Mario 1, but like Mario was called Rambo. Do you remember that one?
I don't remember. I don't watch a lot of the James and Mike
Yeah.
shit, except for like the one
either.
where like I watched them like separately. I think I don't watch James as much, but where's that fucking
Building bricks in Minecraft. That's basically the only thing I know with Mike besides him being Bugs Bunny and all other random characters in the episodes.
Well, that mushroom got away. The one that got away.
The one that got away.
I gotta get over to the coin safely. I'm trying to think of where it is. Where was it again?
I'm at the coin.
No, I meant the star. Sorry. We've been in this level a long time. I can't wait to get out of it. It's a fucking ice level. I hate those because of Crash Bandicoot.
Because of Crash Bandicoot.
Have you never played Crash Bandicoot with the ice physics?
I've only played a little bit of a very little amount of
It's
Crash.
only in the sequel, actually.
Oh yeah, I think I only played like the first one.
I can't get over there. I'm gonna have to like Let me
Yeah,
think
I
of
think
how
I
to
got
get
the
open it.
Insane Trilogy on the Switch. I just played like a little
Well, I
bit of the
love
first game.
Crash Bandicoot 2 on the PS1.
Yeah.
Both versions, actually, but I like to play the original because I'm a contrarian.
Contrarian, yes. I might have played a little bit of the original on like a freaking hotel, game system they have where you could like rent games or whatever.
Yeah, I hate how they make you pay for their own games, or, you can't, you have to...
Funny story. When I was there was in a hotel. One of those at a hotel had GameCube games, and that was actually the first time I played Animal Crossing.
Oh, man, I gotta make
Like,
sure I
I
don't
remember,
pass
I
up
think
the...
I saw like a commercial for New Leaf, and I was like, oh my god, I need this. So I like tried the GameCube one in a hotel game thing.
Get up, Mario. Get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. Oh, damn it. I gotta go all the way back around.
Mm.
I'm not kidding. I gotta go back around.
Guys, I'm not kidding. I actually have to go back around. Can you believe it?
Yeah. I've been here
Because I
so long. I just want to finish the star. I didn't even get that.
Can you guys believe
I
it?
didn't even
Because
get
I
the baby
fucking
penguin.
You didn't even get the baby penguin?
No, I haven't thrown it off and committed like murder yet. You have to. I'll do it next mission or next time I'm here or whatever.
Next time I'm here, I will commit murder.
No, it's like a Geneva
And on
Convention
my-
violation. You have
Yeah.
to take care of the I can't remember what article it is, but it's like one of the Geneva articles says you shouldn't kill the children or whatever.
Yeah,
You have to make sure they're
hope it
taken care
does.
of.
Yeah, I sure hope it does. I think there's like a gimmick account that was like games that violate the Geneva Convention and like.
No, that was on it. That's a profile pic that was on it for a long time.
Yeah, the profile picture was Mario throwing the baby penguin off a cliff.
Yeah, and the origin of that is really dark. It's like about the children or whatever. There, I got the fucking star.
Is that's the? Oh yeah, that's the 8 red coins. Awesome.
Copper is a derogatory word.
No, I don't think so.
He must have been it's so weird. I actually asked the school he was a real police officer because he had a gun, but
That's how you can tell.
yeah.
Definitely.
No, for real. He was I actually don't know if I don't know, but anyway, I asked him what does COP stand for, and he said Citizen of Police. I thought it meant Chief of Police or something. I can't remember. Anyway,
It actually stands for something?
yeah, it stands for Citizen of Police.
I had no damn clue. I thought it was just something that just existed and didn't really have an origin or anything. That's funny. Oh my god. I didn't know that.
So when Miss Chalice says the cops stormed in, she means Citizens of Police. I haven't actually watched the Cuphead show.
Police. Oh, the Cuphead show? Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't watched it actually. I've just seen the clip or two or whatever. I don't know.
Me neither.
Actually, fuck doing this in order. Let's just go and get the... I'm trying to think if I can get the 100 coins.
Not like slur derogatory, just like insult. You know, there's a spectrum. Makes sense. A scale.
Get over here, you spider. Said to fly to the spider. I always thought that this... Let me show you. So this box here, I always thought you were supposed to use it to get to Big Boo on the DS version. So I didn't know how to unlock Luigi in those games. So it was so weird to me.
Did you try going to Ellsworth?
Yeah, I tried getting to the top of the staircase, not a staircase, the top of the mansion with that box there. It was weird.
It does not take you nearly high enough.
I tried getting up here also when I was playing the Winter 96 version because I thought there'd be there is I think a mushroom up there, but I thought it was one of the green keys used to unlock Luigi. There's 10 green keys, none of them are in the top story of the castle or even they're all in the basement or the ground level. So anyway, Wario's are all in the level. There's 2 in every level that unlocks a wing, not a wing cap, but that kind of power up. Trying to get the 100 coin mission for this one early. You have to go through a lot of missions and just not collect the star. Get over
It's
here, you
been kind of
bug.
interesting with the PC port render 96 shenanigans.
I like how calm we are, like, without Guy here. I really antagonize him for
Yeah,
some
well,
reason.
let's talk
I know it's my
let's talk
fault.
about guy behind his back.
No, it's me. I'm the one who talks about fucking like the other. It was actually this that I was gonna talk to you about. I saw this like post that sort of like poked fun at artistic people, but it was done in a way that was like, assuming it was real, it wasn't really disrespectful. It was just, I laughed is the point. Okay, I laughed. I thought it was funny. It was like a
Okay, I
good
laughed.
Yeah, so I laughed and I sent it to a friend and they were really uncomfortable because of like, hold on, there I killed that ghost, got a free blue coin. Anyway,
Oh man, I gotta go kill some ghosts. I love blue coins.
yeah. Oh damn it.
Oh hey, look who's here. Hi Ahmed. He says, "Is this really the 64th Mario game?"
Meto. I don't recognize you
This,
from Twitter, dude.
this is someone
Yeah.
I know. I
Oh.
tweeted about it.
Well, I guess we shouldn't tell that story then.
What's the story?
Oh, it's just that I sent it to a guy who was like, it's it's hard to say in a polite way, but he went to special ed for a little while because he had like
Yeah.
I don't want to say what condition he had, but he wasn't. It wasn't like he was in there forever. It was just that he had a problem reading. I don't want to say exactly what his condition was because I don't want to dox him or anything. I guess
like
since I'm the
everything
one who told the joke, I guess I'll go ahead and say it was Dr. Milk and he's dyslexic, so he had to. People talk about special ed like it's like a joke on South Park or whatever. I guess it is to an extent, but it's not like that. There's people in there that are like smart and shit. Anyway, so I sent it to him and he got really uncomfortable. Was the point of that story.
Everybody has a different tolerance for what they're comfortable with. You know?
It was just, is this guy in the chat gonna be like 13 or something? Because I don't want to say it out loud and be like, is he 18?
No, I mean,
it was really
no,
hardcore. Okay, so the guy was talking on 4chan. I know that's a bad setup right there, but he was talking about how he had sex with like his partner who was autistic, and the autistic partner got on top of him, and he was like, "Broom, broom," and he was like, "Fucking autistic tops."
Sorry.
No, it is funny. That's why I told it.
Yeah.
What do you bone me for? I'm the one who should be offended, and I found it funny.
Yeah.
It's exactly what I would say if I was a top in like a gay relationship. I'm not gay. I'm just saying like,
Just
I'm
saying.
open-minded.
Hypothetically.
Let's say hypothetically I was a Barbie girl in a Barbie world.
Let's say hypothetically.
Let's say hypothetically there's a beach that makes you old. Have you not seen that one? That's a really good like shit post. He's like, it's like
makes you old. Is that like the opposite of the Fountain of Youth?
Yeah, it kind of is. I thought about it. I thought about that actually. But anyway, it's from a movie by M. Night Shyamalan or some shit.
In reaction to that 4chan post, Mark just says, LMAO, what?
Yeah. Damn, I missed the blue coin. Now I gotta find another way to get all those. So, fucking, I'm gonna have to get up to the top of the... I've missed too many blue coins, so I gotta get up to the... Get me out of here, get me out of here. Okay, good. I've missed too many blue coins, so I gotta go up to the top. That was a nice blue coin.
That was a nice blue coin. He complimented my shirt.
It's not like the blue coins from Sunshine.
Oh yeah, those are
I have nightmares about them. I haven't even played the game that far.
Yeah, I have 100% in that game once. The blue coins were a pain.
You shouldn't.
You shouldn't.
Don't do it. You'll end up like Some Call Me Johnny, where you expected like supersonic or something.
Like,
I don't understand how that's. I don't understand how Mario Sunshine is different from like, what was it? Crash Bandicoot 2, where you get a good ending, but it's like, it's just a cutscene.
Yeah,
But this time you just got
I
a
knew
shitty
it didn't really
picture.
give you anything. I just wanted to get all 120 shines.
Why did you do that?
Because.
So this is the part where I always forget, like, oh, I did it right the first time that time. Let me see if I can do it again.
Because I'm one of those
I always
sneaky
forget how
guys
to do the wall kicks because it's way different in this game.
Oh yeah.
Oh, hold on, I think I need the... I'm trying to think if I need the Vanish Cap for this. I think I can just go up there. There, I did it. Thank fucking goodness. I'm actually not going to go after Big Boo here. I just want coins. There's the coin. Not the coin, the star.
It's the coin. The dollars.
There,
Oh,
give me that. Give me that save point.
I like
Sweet,
getting the
sweet
100 coin
save point.
star in this level. It's not that hard.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Where am I missing one? Oh, right. It's at the bottom story. Never mind. I'll go get it. Then I can, you know. Oh, hold on. This is the wrong room. This is the wrong room. From SA2?
Wait a minute.
No, SA1. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Sonic
Wait a
Adventure
minute.
1. I will never
I hate
talk to you.
golf. I remember, like, as a kid seeing some video about that scene in SA1 where Sonic falls and he runs into this, like, girl on the beach and he's like, "You're not who I'm looking for."
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
It's so
it's like,
random. Well,
who is she?
well, I just wanted to see if you were dead. You can't even talk to her afterwards. It's weird. You
You're
can't
like,
go
"What's
back
your
to the
deal?"
beach and talk to her.
Yeah.
Is Mario's model like fucked up, or is it just me?
Oh, that's his long distance model. Like if the camera is
Oh,
really
I
far
see.
away from him.
Oh, right,
it
that's
switches-
the thing.
Yeah, it switches to the lower poly model. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows that gaming.
So let's go back and get the other missions or whatever the fuck. Oh, we're close to getting.
Yes, I did. Thank you very
We're
much.
actually close to getting the 30th star, which would mean, you know,
You can unlock the.
we go up, we unlock Dar Docks, and then we can fight Bowser for the second time. I'm not even gonna bother with coins. I did a whole bunch. It's like whatever.
30 stars. Time to ride the elevator.
I'm starting to regret telling that story now because I feel like maybe someone's gonna think, maybe in 10 years I'll look back on it. I'll be like, damn, I really betrayed my own kind there. I betrayed everything I stand for.
My own kind. No.
You know, autistic people.
Yeah.
Did I not make it clear that I'm autistic?
Yes, you have.
That's why I overthink, but I also do things anyway because, like, I don't know if it's normal or not. Come here, Big Boo. Oh, damn it.
Do you have any big boos? I guess I'm gonna have to go fishing again.
I'm trying to remember, is that actually in Mario Fundamentals?
Yes, it is.
It's sad that I know that that's Charles Martin. I think it's Charles Martinet's first. That was his first role as Mario, right? Charles Martinet.
Actually, let me put on my nerd emoji face. I think he was in like some really obscure like pinball machine or something.
Oh,
like
that's kind of like how Roger Craig Smith debuted in Sonic Free Riders, which the voice work was done after Sonic Colors, and they actually asked him to make it sound a little bit like Jason Griffith, so people wouldn't get quite as upset. But they showed.
Well, actually, Roger Craig Smith actually debuted at Alton Towers in the Sonic ride or whatever.
That's dumb.
You know about that?
No.
Yeah, it's some like theme park in the British land.
British. I know
British.
someone from there. His name is Dr. Milk. But I shouldn't dox him.
You just did vaguely, but no. It says Big Boo heart. Yeah, he likes booze.
Like how Mark says, honestly, more comfortable with things like vroom vroom than what people think is normal in sex dirty talk anyway.
That's true, yeah.
There's some weird shit going on, like daddy and mommy and shit.
Yeah, vroom vroom is like way less weird if you think about it.
Why the fuck are you calling your partner daddy? What is wrong with you? I don't know the kink shame. Fuck, man, that implies incest. I don't like anything about it.
I don't
Go
want to
die in a fire.
What the fuck?
Yeah. I think if they're watching this stream, they're like, can you imagine? They're watching
I'm the
this
boo
stream.
guy, in a light sense of the word. I thought you were the Goombella guy. I guess you're both.
Oh gosh, I hope I don't get burned up by the lava. I can't even tilt it back.
I'm also the Goombella guy.
Here we go. Here we are to the destination. Now we can do the thing. Oh boy. Let me hope this joystick doesn't fuck me over. That log just fucking pinned me like it was fucking serious. Did you see that, Sean?
Oh, I saw that. Oh my god, that's brutal.
This fucking that log did more than any Koopa Troopa has ever done.
That log deserves a promotion.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, wrong villain.
No, exactly that. It's like if actually, how would that work? Like Sonic Underground and Super Mario World would trade places, and Sonic Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog would trade places with the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, and then like Set AM would be Mario 3, which is probably the boringest of them all. If I'm being honest
which is why
with
it's
myself.
Set AM.
Oh snap! Did you see that discourse on
It's
Twitter?
funny. I remember when I was younger, freaking everybody online used to praise Set AM to death.
Yeah, they did, and it sucks.
And now everyone like just doesn't care.
No one gives a fuck because it's not that good. It wasn't that good. You're just nostalgic for it because you grew up with it. And now those kids are adults, and the kids don't grow up with it. And they're like, this kind of sucks.
Screw this shit. I want some Looney Tunes ass Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog shenanigans.
I liked Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog.
I do too.
It was a good show. It was a good show. It was a good
that was probably the most
90s, Nick. What?
That was probably the most jank death I've ever seen in this game.
It's like it was like the most committed soldier, and it wasn't even like
it's a goddamn log. Why is that log not like burning? It's in lava.
I don't know, man. Okay, I gotta do one mission of Dire Docks, and I can get back to the game.
Mark said, "Is that a fear from Inside Out emoji?" It's funny because like people started spamming that emoji on my stream, and I was like, "Hey, is that fear from Inside Out?"
Oh wow!
And then that just became a thing. I was more of a Snoik X person. I was as well. When I was a kid, they were showing Sonic X on like the 4Kids, whatever channel or whatever.
I loved Sonic X when I was younger.
Oh, this is terrible.
And then I grew up, and I was like, damn. Chris is kind of an asshole.
Damn, fucking Chris.
I can understand him not wanting to part with Sonic, but at the same time, it's kind of like
It's not like I really haven't watched that much of Adventures of Sonic.
It's just that it's like the 1%. He's like rich as fuck. He has a butler. He has like your grandpa invents things. He's like his mother's a movie star.
Like the first
did I mention that his butler is Japanese and his name is Mr. Tanaka, and he's like a really hardcore like protector or whatever. If it wasn't for Sonic, he'd really shine or whatever. I don't know. It's actually weird they invented Chris because like Tails is already Sonic's best friend. You ever think
I
about
think
that?
the only one of the only one of the Sonic cartoons I've watched a good amount of recently is Boom.
But
Which
why?
I don't think you. Yeah, I know you don't like that one.
It was okay for a while, but like after a while I got tired of him.
Yeah.
I just don't like the. It's actually kind of a big problem now. Is that like people will there's so many fourth wall jokes now that it's like not funny anymore. Because like when Chowder did that
Yeah.
one fourth wall joke like 15 or 20 years ago, it was like really funny and special, but now it's like not special at all. Because it's just everywhere, man. There's some slowdown there. I've heard. I actually talked to the guy, not extensively, but I talked to the guy who figured out how to make that like slowdown work without slowing down everything.
My favorite Sonic characters: Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Shadow, and Christopher.
You clearly forgot to put Knuckles at the end because of and Knuckles.
Oh, and Knuckles, yeah. Sonic, Tails, Shadow, Christopher,
I like to do
and
that
Knuckles.
sometimes. I commissioned like art dirt cheap once, and I said I wanted like I think it was 5 of them, or like at least 4. I think it was like Tails, Knuckles, Eggman, and actually it would be Robotnik, I guess. It was called very classic Sonic. It was in like the rubber hose cartoon style. Not rubber hose, but you know, Mickey Mouse and Felix the Cat and all that shit.
You know that shit.
Yeah, I'm just rambling because I don't know what else to do with like the stream because like I have to play this fucking game. I can't just take a seat. I did like that one stream like 10 years ago from that channel that's like not doing streams anymore where like the guy was telling bullshit all night and after a while like he just like Sam just sat the controller down and like let Sonic get the idle animation where he's like really annoyed and stuff. He's just sitting there in Sonic 2 and Casino Night Zone.
It's like, did you specify like, oh, by the way, make sure to list and Knuckles last for the, you know, and Knuckles joke?
I'm trying to think of what you're talking about. I know I made that joke a little while ago, but
yeah, it's not important.
Oh yeah, I did. That's what I was talking about. I forgot where I was going with that story.
Yeah,
I completely forgot.
Mark mentioned Sonic Prime. Have you seen any of that? I haven't.
No, because it's on Netflix and... Well, actually, I do have a Netflix account. It's because of my mother. We all share one or whatever, and because you know, we live in the same house. So I'm a loser. It's weird because in the rest of the world, like, living with your parents until you're 25 is like more normal than, like, it is here or whatever. People look down on that here. I think so. That's what my friend from England told me.
Yeah, it's like, what the hell? I don't want to pay my own rent.
Have you seen the housing crisis?
Jesus.
I mean, not to get political, but have you seen that Duke Nukem commercial? Not commercial. The Duke Nukem short where like Duke was like, "Those damn alien bastards are real. Why don't I feel anything? Is the government gonna? Are those alien bastards gonna get me a help me pay rent? Are they gonna help the king get a house one day? I wonder if they're as old as our geriatric leadership. Our government found a little green men, but they can't get me a fucking healthcare plan."
Yeah,
I'm dead.
I thought you were gonna say, not to get political, but have you heard of Duke Nukem? Like, Jesus.
Okay, good. It saved me right here. I was afraid I was all the way back at the beginning.
Yeah. Mark said, I feel like Sonic Prime is the closest to what it feels like most Sonic fans wished we could get as a Sonic show so far. I binge watched season 1 at someone else's house. That's fun.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. You didn't give Netflix money. Damn, I was so close to catching his tail. Oh, Shiza.
Oh, Shiza.
Come on, you little bastard. Let me go around you. This is
Shut
the
up,
hardest
you
Bowser.
stupid bitch.
This is this is the hardest Bowser fight probably in the game.
Why does he teleport?
I don't know. Why didn't they do it in the final fight? Why isn't it like Saiyans where he just teleports and every time you're about to grab his tail?
Teleports behind you. Nothing personnel, kid.
Can I take a massage? Instead of a message? You wouldn't get it anyway.
You wouldn't get it.
Fuck you! You fucking dick! Always naysaying everything I create, you piece of shit! You create something like inward saying, you fucking shit, go to your room, sit in your tower, take a nap. What's funny? Fucking fuckhead, fucking chaos!
Mark says Duke Nukem is pretty political, and then Tyler says Duke Nukem for president.
Oh yeah, that was a thing they did on Twitter during the 2016. It's 2016. It might have been 2015 election.
2015.
They had Kermit for the Green Party. Grunkle Stan from Gravity Falls as the yellow candidate. Was it independent? I don't remember.
Yeah.
And then they had Duke Nukem as I think No, was it? Tyler, help me out here. Was Duke Nukem the Democrat or the Republican in that fucking setup?
This is very important. For...
This is a hard battle. I can't get to him.
I need to fill this in on my history. I need to fill this on my history homework. Was Duke Nukem a Democrat or a Republican?
Well, before the big switch in the civil rights movement of the 1960s.
Tyler says Republican. And then Mark says I think it was 2020.
No, it couldn't have been Oh, it would have been 2020, I guess. No. I don't remember.
Ghost powers one day.
Look at him, he's charging at me. Fuck.
I need to see what this emoji is called. It's where is it? It's a guy drinking. Is it?
Well, I'm dead. Get me out of here. Get me out of here. Fuck. Alright, Bowser, you're gonna get it.
It's called Face Turquoise Drinking Coffee. Amazing.
But why?
Duke was Republican, Grunkle Stan was Libertarian, Kermit was green.
Oh yeah, Libertarian. Kermit was green. Because of course he was.
Green.
He won. I was hoping Grunkle Stan would win. But then it turned out that
fake election.
It was a poll on Twitter.
Yeah. My favorite.
Bowser is so fucking on his game today.
Damn. I tell you a story that would make you feel really old.
What?
Like my like
can't hit him.
School class. This was in maybe like 4th or 5th grade.
It was like it was somewhere around here.
It was like the 2012 election.
It was actually in the 2008 election where I voted for Obama in class, and I was the only one in my class to do it.
Oh, it's funny because my story is the exact opposite. In the 2012 election, literally everyone in my class voted for Obama.
Why'd you vote for McCain? I voted for Obama because he was black, and I'm not even sorry about it. It wasn't a real election anyway.
No,
there, I fucking killed him. Fuck, that was a hard battle. I'm down to 1 health. I think when you defeat the boss with 1 HP left on one party member and everyone else is dead.
Yeah. I've won, but at what cost?
Yeah. Mark,
it's not easy being green party. Yeah.
There, I finally can get out of here. That was a hard battle. What did Tyler say? It was technically 2019, I think. Thank goodness. I was afraid you guys did it during the heat of the... I swear I thought it was 2018. I thought it was the midterms or something.
Who was Mike Hager? He's like
Mike Hazard is he's apparently a Democrat. I don't know who the fuck he is. I think he's in some fighting game.
Yeah, I looked it up. He's apparently a Street Fighter character.
Street Fighter to hell? Why don't I know about him? Like Chun-Li or Ryu or that guy. I think his name was Ken. Ken from Yeah, we had the same thought process going on there.
Yeah. Ken and his evil twin Ben.
Ben 10,
No, Ben Ken.
Benton Connor.
Benjamin?
I think that was a guy who worked on the regular show. I don't know. I don't know where that came from out of my mouth.
I like how you call it the, I like how you call it the regular show.
Oh, I fucked up. I didn't mean to call it that. They did. I think there was a couple of promotional things that called it the regular show.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like how you always capitalize the T in Undertale because of the Kickstarter did that. Yeah.
But I love spelling it that way. It helps with the AUs.
It does?
I don't know. It's like Ultra Tail. It's like 2 words, and it helps you know which. Sometimes there's Ultra Swap too, and you have to differentiate.
I guess it makes it clearer. You know, this is a tail. It's under.
Be careful with that because of what was it again? Undertale, but spelled with like the word tail, like TAIL. It's like something filthy.
Filthy. Yes.
Don't look it up. I'm telling you, man. You better not be, because you're gonna be scarred for life. I haven't even looked it up yet.
I said I won't.
I hope you don't, because that one time you did it. You did it when I told you not to look up the Parnets thing with fuck, what was it again?
Why did you tell me not to look up Parnets? I know that.
Because I think it was like, I think it pulled up like Mpreg with the Turtle Brothers T-Cest. Turtle Cest.
Oh yeah, I think it did.
Or I could just cheat and get over here and do this.
Wait, why is Parnets apparently an actual... Parnets is apparently now an actual, like, a company or an app, and their logo is just a ripoff of the FedEx logo.
It's like Brian Griffin. What the fuck?
Peter, what are you doing? Crack? What the fuck?
I love that delivery. I gotta put it in a highlights reel. I'm trying to remember which one of these is the good level, that's like the snow level, and which one is the fucking awful Tiny Huge Island level.
Oh yeah, I fucking hate Tiny Huge Island.
Fucking sucks.
The fucking sucks,
thing
fucking
sucks.
Blows, it fucking sucks monkey fuck.
Yeah, I say that all the time. Now I could take the shortcut where you get a... Actually, I think I will get the one up, but I won't take the shortcut.
I was gonna read Tyler's, I guess, quote from like a wiki. It sounds like, Mike Hager is the mayor and heavy brawler in the beat-em-up Final Fight, and it's in the same universe as Street Fighter, but he himself has never been playable in a Street Fighter. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Because like when I looked him up, it pulled up the Street Fighter wiki, so I just said that, you know, assumed that he was in the Street Fighter game.
Yeah, we're climbing to close to the top of the mountain. I don't think we go all the way to the mountain.
Going to the top of the tall, tall mountain.
I'm trying to think here. Do I have to go... Tyler, do I have to do this? Climb up here, or do I go around?
Tyler,
I'm just going to take it the long way, because I don't want to miss a star. Oh, I should have taken the fucking shortcut.
Is he your designated Mario 64 advisor?
Well, it's his favorite game of all time and shit.
Oh, that makes sense. I've played it like 3 times. I can tell you something.
What, you beat it 3 times, or you like, I
100%ed it 3 times.
What? That's excessive.
Yeah.
I think.
I know it's excessive.
I guess it's not excessive because there's speedruns and shit, but...
Yeah.
I don't want to play that game for that long.
It's not like I 100%ed... Okay, it's not like I 100%ed it 3 times in a row.
Yeah, that would be crazy, man. That would be like... That's like the definition
of
a... That's like the origin story of a serial murderer.
The origin of a serial murderer. I played Mario 64.
I prefer the term serial murderer because it's an anagram for Azrael Dreamer from Undertale.
Ooh. Wow.
Getting spicy with the lore. Yeah, Dreamer's an anagram for murderer.
Yeah. Do you think the serial part was also intentional?
I assume so.
Yeah.
He already anagrammed it for Rousey, I think, at that Point. Whatever, I'm just gonna
couldn't go
long
with,
jump in.
Couldn't go with serial killer, I guess, because like, what name could you make out of killer? Like,
I don't know.
Gooder.
Relic.
Relic.
Relic. Relic! That's a good one. Relic. Like
Relic.
an old man
Yeah,
character or
Relic.
something. I don't know. Gerson should have been
Tyler
named.
says, I've 100%ed 3 times this year alone.
Tyler, we're gonna have a talk later.
Yeah.
Not on stream.
I did it on the I 100%ed it on 3D All Stars around when that came out, and then I did it like 2 more times on the Switch on the N64 one.
Has it been that
One time
long
with
since 3D All Stars came out?
Yeah, it was 2020.
I think I missed the first coin or star. I mean, gonna have to. Oh, here we go. I think this is right. Whatever. I'll just get the thing behind the wall. Oh, that's what it does. I always wondered what the switch was for. It's to help you get the star. I look such a dumb fuck now.
I think I almost 100% in my 64 on the Wii, but I couldn't for the life of me have the patience for some TikTok clock or Rainbow Ride star, like maybe 116 stars or something.
I hope he wasn't 119, because that's Cyber Show told me that's like the definition of a some shit. I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, and I always listen to Cybershell. When he said that, and I realized, oh fuck, I got to the final boss in Donkey Kong Country Returns and then didn't beat it. I was like, oh fuck.
That's how I am in Ukulele right now. I've beaten it, like, I've gotten 100 pages twice. Like, one on PC, and then my PC quit on me, and I did it again on PlayStation. Whoop, I didn't mean to do that. I did it on PlayStation and PC, and I haven't completed either one of those saves.
Mark says, well, I would have 100%ed Hot Wheels Beat That for the DS, except they freaking forgot to program in a shortcut, making it impossible.
It's awful. I hate that for you, Mark.
Ahmed's amazing advice. TBH, just play a game that has 0 collectibles and 0 extra stuff, and it's just 100% linear. Easy 100% of a game. Funny cat guy emoji.
You mean like Undertale? You only have to play the game once, sort of, to get all the trophies, and Tyler still didn't get them because he didn't know about the Dog Nation. He didn't know to donate to the Dog Shrine.
Everything Reg hears, it's like, oh, it's like an Undertale. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know, right? It's awesome.
It's everything is just like Undertale. It's so cool.
Love Undertale. I think I might like Deltarune Chapter 2 more. It's like, but Undertale is crucial to my identity because of how long I spent listening to those Megalovania remixes and shit. Not remixes, but like AU versions. It was fun as shit. I couldn't stop. It was like candy. Not candy, it was like crack.
I was eating Megalovania versions like candy and or crack.
Yeah. We gotta put that in the stream highlight, man. How am I gonna get all the way down there? I don't want to do that. Fuck me.
When are you gonna upload the first stream highlight?
I don't know. I'll probably do it. Should I do it today? Should I do it tomorrow?
You can do it tomorrow. Is it like done?
It's done. I just need to upload it. Well, actually, I gotta render it too.
Yeah.
Wonder which star I just did.
I was gonna share it on my community tab on the YouTube.
You should. Okay? Yeah, it's cool. I mean, if you want to give me viewership.
I do.
Tyler, which... Okay, so if the stairs... If this is the entrance to... If Tyler, be real with me. If I'm standing right here, which door goes to Winter Wonderland? If I go left or do I go right and rotate around? I want to go to Tiny Huge Island.
Why don't you just, like, look in the door?
I don't want to do that. I want to...
Just open the door and see with your eyes.
I guess this one might be... No, that would be the... I think I'll do...
Tyler says it's the one with the indentations.
Okay, good. I found the right one. I was right in my gut instinct. It's number 10, Tiny Huge Island is number 13, so naturally you go around like clockwise. And anyway, let's just go and get in here.
TikTok clockwise.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
I'll show you that thing now, Sean. I had to think of your name for a minute because I was like, is his name Mark? Actually, let me do something else. Let me
Wait, you thought my name was Mark?
no, because Mark's name is Mark, and I had a brain fart or something.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of.
I gotta kill this guy first.
Wait, Tyler just said it's hard replying while driving. Why the hell are you watching while driving, dude?
What the fuck? That's why he
You know what
hasn't
they
been
say.
replying? Good lord.
You know what they say? Don't chat and drive. Jesus, dude, stay safe.
Yeah, I know I wanted you to be here, but I wasn't gonna take your. Well, I did stay up all night, and then I had to go to Walmart, and then I had to do this on like not much sleep. Oh, dude, I possessed the same enemy in Mario Odyssey, and I kept shaking the Joy-Cons to get as many coins as possible, and I realized those were my coins I was shaking out, so I was losing coins.
That's funny.
It is funny, but at the same time, I was crying. Fuck me, I'm really.
It is funny, but it is also tragedy.
I'm dead.
I'm dead.
Whatever, I'll just take the L.
Take that.
So
take
I'm
the
gonna beat
L.
the level now. Mario drowns.
Mark says, Tyler, stop inventing new types of distracted driving.
Yeah.
and then Mario just drowned.
I wonder if I can do that one part here.
You know, the one part.
I think I can go in here and then I can like no, this is the wrong end, I think.
Tyler says, I'm 100%ing distracted driving.
Oh man.
all types of distracted driving speedrun. Any percent. Like 100%.
Come on, let me in here.
I remember this ice maze more in Mario 63. It's a lot bigger there.
I'm telling you, man, I'm not watching that because it's got a flood machine.
You know.
Okay, the next
Dude,
mission for sure is going to be.
Listen, dude, Flood is literally better in 63 than he is in Sunshine.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Oh, I hope that guy doesn't hear
You can
this.
also literally like not. You can literally turn Flood off. Like you can switch between nozzles, and one of them is off. So you don't need to use him all the time.
Let me see if I can show you that trick with the penguin. I'll do it both ways because I'll probably like fall off the edge of the earth anyway.
Tyler says Flood would have to be better literally anywhere but Sunshine. Damn, you guys are on the same page here.
I'm gonna die here. You guys are chatting about.
Here.
It's
My
like
worst
that
enemy,
Harley
Flood.
Quinn episode where they go into Batman's mind and they're like, they missed the part where Batman's parents get killed, and he's like, we missed it talking about fucking Snoop Dogg. And first they said Joe Chilled, and then someone said Joe Cool, right? And he's like, no, Joe Chilled. Joe Cool is like something that Snoop Dogg does with his beanie in a hat, and then they get to talking about it, and he's like, they talk about Snoopy, and then they're all like, oh, here it is. Here's the fucking part of the. I mean, Tyler would attest to this. I told him that like
Joe Chill.
the correct way
Joe
is.
Chill sounds like a knockoff of Jack Frost.
Oh man, no, he's the guy who killed Batman. He's the guy who made Batman. Because Batman wasn't Batman until his parents fucking died right in front of his fucking face.
Yeah, I think that happens. Not a big. Wait, so how do you get on his head?
I'll show you in a minute. I'm trying to do it the right way first. I'll get blown off here in a minute.
I hate
this
part.
Who?
Yep, Tyler just said I usually ride the penguin's head, and it's like I didn't know you could do this.
Let me see if I can do it without going all the way back. I'm afraid I don't want to lose my cap. Whatever, I'll just do it anyway. Let me just climb back up there and show you. I wasn't having it. I was really bored.
Tyler says anyway, just got home, so that's good.
That's good.
No longer chat and driving.
That's awful that he was doing that. Should not have been doing that. I'm sorry I made you do that, Tyler. I really wanted you to attend the stream. Hold on a minute. There's a red coin over here. That's good.
I kind of need to pee, but I want to see the freaking riding the penguin's head thing, because I've never seen that.
I didn't know you could get lava from cold. Get over here, mushroom. I hope I can do it right. Well, I'm gonna die here.
I was pulling over before typing? So, like, every time you were chatting, you pulled over?
Well, I think he means at a stoplight, because he lives in New York like you do. I'm dead.
A stoplight? I mean, does he live in, like, the...
Well, there's stop signs and shit. He lives in, upstate New York, but it's like the country part of upstate New York or something. I don't know what town he lives in. I can never remember what town he lives in.
I don't need the town, it's just like, I guess, the general area. Like, I'm in the Hudson Valley area.
I'm dead. Okay, good, I lived.
Oh, you're not dead, I'm lived. Sliding around. Oh, near Saratoga Springs, that's cool. I think that's more, yeah, that's more north of where I am.
Well, I died trying to show it to you. You better appreciate this when I get it done.
Okay.
I hope I can do it now. I'm really paranoid now that I'm gonna fuck it up and it's gonna take like 10 more minutes to do it. I hate that fucking carpet shit where like they're trying to knock you off. It's like the spring from Spring Yard, not Marble Zone, where the guy's like, me standing outside of your house with a baseball bat is also a trap. It's to stop you from moving forward.
It is.
Like, just let me up there. Fuck! Stop for 1 fucking second so I can do this. I just want up there. There, I did it. Now I can get up here. I'm being very careful right now because I don't want to fall off the edge of the snow. Oh, Christ. There, I did it for you. You're almost there. There you go. Sean, are you there? Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I'm here. What?
I told you, I ledge grabbed it. That's like the secret or something, or maybe they just made it like they forgot to make it like not like that.
Is that like easy to do?
Oh, it was real easy to do. I thought it was gonna be hard.
Damn.
Once I started talking about it. Yeah, I did it first try. I was actually worried I was gonna miss the penguin. I'd have to wait for it to walk back over. So I just ran for it. I can't believe you looked away right as I did it.
In my life.
I saw it from Temmie's Chang's stream, where she was playing Mario 64 on the All-Stars collab, or whatever the fuck.
The collab?
Temmie from Undertale, okay?
Yes, I'm aware of Temmie from Undertale.
It's a good game. And she helped make it happen.
Yeah, I'm also aware she's a real person.
Yeah, she's a real person. So you shouldn't do anything weird with the Temmies.
Yeah. Well, I mean, rest assured, I'm not planning on doing that. I haven't even played Undertale that much. Sean, I kind of need to go to the bathroom, but I want to see this. Reg proceeds to die for 10 minutes. It's Tyler
Okay,
said it.
go to
I
the
can't believe,
bathroom. I'll
Tyler,
do.
you thought that was the intended way.
Might be a secret
Anyway,
way.
I'll be
I
right
don't know.
back. The secret.
I'm gonna do a mission in Womp's Fortress, or maybe I should do Jolly Roger Bay while I'm at it. Oh, there's a secret in the Peach's Slide. I gotta do it fast enough. I am hungry as fuck. He needed his mic so he doesn't like fart really loud on the stream. I'm just kidding. If I get there in time. Come on, baby! Yes! I did it under 21 seconds! Barely made it, like Sonic says. No, get over here, mushroom. Whatever, I didn't lose that mushroom anyway. 39 stars. That's good. Tyler, the R2 dude, says, look, I started playing Mario 64 when I was 5 or 6. I couldn't figure everything out. Tyler, do you think I should... No, I gotta do that next stream. I forgot. I made the thumbnail already. I gotta do the 100 coin challenge in, Fuck me, what was it again? Hold on, do I have the... Yeah, I have the 100 coin star. Okay, I just want to make sure. Tyler says, I didn't even know you could make it in time before jumping off the bridge. I'm trying to think of what bridge. Whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm trying to remember, is this the one where I actually don't remember. I think I'm supposed to... Shouldn't be wild blue. Is this... Oh, it's chip off the old wall that I'm supposed to do that. Tyler, should I do chip off the old wall? Hello?
Off the old womp?
Chip off the old wall or some shit like that.
Oh no, that one's called that one's called the what's it called again? The one where you shoot the wall.
I know, I'm gonna do it first because I don't think it's worthy of
Yeah, you're mixing it up with the chip off Womp's block, which is like the first one where you fight the big Womp.
Oh, I see. Chip off Womp's back or some shit.
Womp's block. Steve rocks the block.
Have you heard of Uncle Cockblock? Oh, I'm sorry. I said Uncle Cockblock, and I was on purpose, but I was talking about Uncle Croc's block, which was an old, like, hope I do this right. It was an old, programming block about, what was it again?
Cox? I mean, what?
It was an old programming block where, like, they showed Freddy Cat or something. I think it was the one where it's a cartoon with an amazing premise, and it's done by 70s Filmation, so it sucks. But it's like the guy summons past lives of his by saying the number. Like if he says 1, then the caveman past life shows up as a ghost. It's actually a really fun premise, even though it doesn't make much sense. It's kind of like Fairly Odd Parents in a way. But like they don't do anything with it because they just get them into and out of trouble or whatever. They get them into and out of trouble. It's weird. My throat's kind of scratchy. I need some water or something, but I don't feel like leaving the stream unattended because I don't trust you people.
So wait, if he says like the number 1 like anytime, like if he's in like math class or something,
yeah,
always show up.
Hold on, did I click on the wrong? Oh gosh, I already did this one. Let me actually go back here. Okay, good. Yeah, I didn't want to do all. I didn't want to complete that level yet because it's a doozy. I'm actually finish off Womp's Fortress here. Where was I? Oh yeah, he actually says to us, and I'm going to be too late. And then he's like, "Oh dear, I said 2."
Oh no, I said 2. It looks like it's whatever's after the caveman. Probably
I think
another
it's the
caveman.
wizard. The wizard. I don't know
The
why there's so
wizard?
much time distance. The wizard from medieval times, like Merlin or something.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to cough directly into the mic, but it's not working. I hope my mic quality is better this time, because I really fucked up last time with the mic quality.
I think it's better.
Yeah, I didn't know I was supposed to... They told me in that film class I was supposed to get as close to the mic as possible and I would sound better, but it's like the opposite with the Yeti for some reason.
The Yeti's weird.
Oh man, now I'll never see Womp's Fortress again.
Shame. Once Fortress is like the best level.
It's a damn shame. Huh, Frank?
Damn shame.
You see Bam Shame instead of Damn Shame? Whatever, I don't give a fuck.
Okay, I was just gonna say I said damn, but oh, guess you don't give a fuck.
I kind of hate Hazy Maze Cave, but I kind of like find it intriguing at the same time. I guess I'll do it when I get the middle cap. Or is the middle cap in Hazy Maze Cave? Is the entrance...
Metal Cap is in Hazy Maze Cave. So you must delve into the depths.
The depths of hellfire.
Oh, that would be a lethal lava land.
No!
No! No!
Yeah. It's kind of funny. I kind of like Big Boo's Haunt. It's probably my favorite level in the game. Because,
Yeah, Big Boo's Haunt.
No, it's my favorite is Womp's Fortress, but my favorite not tutorial level is, Big Boo's Haunt, because it's got more secrets and... I don't know. It's one of my favorites, anyway. Let's just get the library book one. We're gonna return to library book. Oh boy.
Oh boy. Exciting. In this exciting Mario adventure, Mario forgets to turn in his overdue library books. Mamma
Did you
mia.
guys know you can... Did you guys know you can go to the library and they have, like, CDs and shit that you can check out?
I think we do.
That's awesome. We should fund the shit out of that.
I know. I remember when I was a kid, I went to my local library. They had like computers. They had like Windows XP still on it. And
No, they have...
3D.
Wow.
I played some like 3D Pinball Space Cadet, and it's like, dude, this is the best.
Yeah, that's good. But I was gonna say they have like updated computers now in my library. But let's try to thought. Yeah, they got CDs and even DVDs and shit. I don't think I have any Blu-ray though. I think it would be like exceptionally expensive. Should do another Big Boo's Haunt. I feel like it.
Maybe in a couple of years when everything is just digital, we'll have Blu-rays. They won't be that expensive anymore.
Oh, this is the one where I get
whatever. Yeah, I was about to say whatever comes after Blu-ray, but yeah, it's digital. There'll be nothing.
we're not gonna get 4K taken over. It's just, it's not happening.
Rather unfortunate. 4K disc.
Fuck that shit. It's not in 4K. It's 21. It's 2160p. It's not 4000 resolution or whatever. I forgot how to do the wall kick for a minute.
Are there any 4K discs?
What do you mean? Have you not seen them at Walmart and shit?
No, I don't really.
They're all over Walmart.
Interesting.
You don't know about 4K discs.
I know about 4K. I just wasn't. I don't look at the.
I know. I just meant like I'm shocked you've never seen the 4K version of a Blu-ray.
Yeah. Okay. Now that I think about it, yeah, I'm pretty sure I have.
So you lied to me. You lied to my fucking face.
I barely own any DVDs or Blu-rays.
Well, actually, I love Blu-ray, but I also like standard definition Blu-ray, which is like where they put like 6 DVDs on one disc. And it's like, because it's all like way. This is hard for some reason. I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
Where did it ever go wrong?
I almost did it. There.
Mark says, "Can the human eye see 4K anyway?" Boom.
Probably not. My bet's on no. Especially my eyes. I got astigmatism, and my numbers are really. My astigmatism numbers are really bad, and they can't make contacts that big in Oasis anymore because my numbers are so high. This is hard, Tyler. How do you do this?
Oh yeah, that part that jump's annoying. And you
This
have to do it
sucks.
like
Why?
on a time limit when you hit
Yeah, with the
blue
the
wing or
vanish
whatever.
cap.
Yeah.
Man, this sucks. I preferred the other one where we were civilized.
Come from a civilized town.
I don't know why that cracked me up. I am a little
A
southern.
civilized level, like Womp's Fortress.
No, like Lethal Lava Land. It's a lot better designed than this hallway here.
Womp's Fortress would never give me
I'm
any
starting to
bullshit
think.
except for the goddamn owl.
No, actually, I like the album. Oh no, never mind. I'm trying to think of what my favorite would be because every one of them has like one mission I don't like that. And it's always in the ones I
Yeah.
really like Womp's Fortress or Babam Battlefield or like. It'd probably be Womp's Fortress if not for that chip off the old wall thing because I think that's some guide dang it stuff where you have to rely on the guide. This is hard.
Tyler says, do a double jump before the wall jump so you're as high as possible.
What do you think I've been doing?
What kind of fool do you take me for?
Yeah.
Are there any other Squidwards I should know about?
Oh, I see. He wants me to do a triple jump right before I. Hold on a second.
He said double jump. Oh, that
I don't know what he's talking about then. I think he meant. I've been doing a double jump, but for some reason I didn't count or something. Oh, I see. I gotta do a dive into it. I gotta dive or something. Let me try that. Damn. This is hardcore. Nope, that wasn't the right button.
You have to do a wall jump.
Yeah, Mario 64 Kaizo, you have to do a wall kick. They're not wall jumps yet.
They forced him to do Mario 64 wall jump.
It was too
It's
much,
very
okay?
It is. It's such a pain to do wall jumps in this video game.
This is so fucking hard. Like, imagine if there was like this impossible jump and you can't fucking do it, but if there's a 1 million and if you get that through that past that one jump, you like win the whole game.
Then you say,
Karate Kid AVGN.
one guy, no continues? What a shitload of fuck.
Yeah, exactly. This is so fucking hard. I'm not completing this.
My goddamn. I'd rather eat a buffalo butt.
I'd rather have a bandicoot doing a 69 on my ear.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, it's like that's how
Gosh,
AVGN
what are you
is.
doing? This really overloads my circuits. That's guy's
Oh, I think I see what he wants. He wants me to do a side jump.
Oh, the side jump, yeah. Oh, I think that's what I usually do. Maybe.
It's hard as shit.
It's hard as shit.
Imagine trying to play a video game.
It fucking hurts, dude.
I gotta do some math here. I gotta do some trigonometry to figure out how to get up there. This is embarrassing. I'm glad I let you pee before we did this, because you'd be like... It would have been a perfect time, actually, for you to take a fucking piss.
Mark says he thinks buffalo butt sounds tasty if you clean the butt part.
What the fuck?
Yeah. That's my exact reaction.
I like just yelling
weird ass animal body parts or whatever they sell that you like.
Why do they stuff crumbs up a dead bird's butt in Thanksgiving? They'd be stuffing the turkey with breadcrumbs, and it's like, what the fuck?
It's like, what the fuck?
I like how this stream has just evolved into, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's so
Peter,
hard.
what are you doing? Peter, what are you eating? Buffalo butts? What the fuck?
Oh gosh. I gotta concentrate here because I'll never get over this fucking.
God, is that the Waffle House moment of this stream?
Imagine me failing this hard in the fucking footage, but it's really funny.
Because I
I
really
just
don't want to. Because I really don't want to have to make a thumbnail of Peter Griffin eating buffalo butts.
Oh man, you're
Yeah.
right.
Well,
Just
this
Photoshop
is-
in Brian going, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm trying to get it done. This is really hard. Imagine this being the stream highlight, and it's just like,
This is the entire stream highlight. It's 10 minutes of Reg trying to do this one jump.
imagine doing this on a time limit.
Yeah, you literally have to do this on a time limit eventually.
Well, I guess I'm not gonna
You're just
do
trying
it.
to
I
do
guess.
Recently, yeah, Tyler said he's gonna try it for himself right now, and he just said, just made it.
Oh my god! I hope he
Way to be a
didn't. Imagine if he got all the
show-off.
way through Bomb's Battlefield and got 12 stars and then came to this level.
And then he's like, "Oh, by the way, Reg, in the time you were trying to do this one jump, I kind of beat the entire game."
This is really hard. I can't do the side thing. I'm gonna have to. This is the hardest jump ever in the history of mankind. Did anyone test this game before they released it? What a cowabunga piece of
Yeah.
shit.
Kind of a fucking piece of dog dookie.
No, it's cowabunga piece of dog shit. The theme song, anyway. This is the hardest jump ever. I think I'm gonna have to quit the level and get out of here. I don't think I'm gonna be able to beat it. Maybe it's my controller? I don't know. It's probably not my controller, it's probably me. Imagine me uploading like a 20-minute stream highlight and it's just this. What else can we have Brian Griffin react to?
Reg tries to fucking do the jump. He's like, "What the fuck, Reginald Cosmic? Don't you know how to play the video game?" Holy crap, is that Brian Griffin from Family Guy?
It's just so fucking hard. Why can't I did it the other day on like something. I think it was on original hardware. I don't remember why. I think I was doing like the very last one where you have to do it on a time limit. I did it, so I'm not sure why I'm having such a hard time. Maybe it really is the controller. Because every once in a while I'll like stop, and that's not me doing that. That's like the controller just like I tilt it a certain way, it like doesn't do anything. It's gonna be one expensive Easter egg hunt. Says Gex.
Gex?
Yeah, you know, he says this is gonna be one expensive Easter egg hunt. Like a mobster accent or something.
Note to self: don't drink the
Don't
tap
drink
water.
tap
It's
water,
Wozniak's
Gary.
house.
No, it's Jerry Garcia's.
Yeah.
I keep going into that door. Cause I'm like,
I know there's like
I'm
there's gonna get a
I'm already
remake.
in its
Are we gonna get
hitbox.
We're gonna get a new Gex game. We're gonna get some new epic.
I hope
quips
so.
in
We
there.
got that remake coming or whatever, remaster actually.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to go up higher and then do the dive. Maybe I've been trying to do the dive too early. This is so fucking hard. I don't know why. This is what happens when you go too long without sleep. You end up playing Mario 64 like it's fucking 1997. I know it came out in 96, Tyler. Calm the fuck down. I just meant like...
It's
I
time
said
to party like
99
it's 1997 and you're playing this game that's 1 year old.
Well, that is when Oh, I better not say that because Tyler's watching. It was a Deltarune spoiler.
Ooh,
It's
watch
already
out.
good. It's about that big shot character, you know what I'm saying?
The big shot character.
Yeah, but
Oh,
we
Tyler
shouldn't
says.
talk about that big shot because it's gonna be like,
Tyler keeps saying, "Reg the column. Reg the column." I just did it 10 times. Column. That's how it's spelled. The column in the corner. Use the column.
this?
Um, the one that's in the right corner. The bottom
Oh, you mean that?
right. Yeah, I think so.
I had no idea.
I had no idea. What the fuck, Reg? I thought you knew
I
how to play
almost did it.
Mario. Not that. Use that column. Not that one. Yes.
This is really fucking hard. I'm almost there. Please, God.
We're almost there, guys. He's gonna make the one jump. Oh, he bonked.
Imagine me having to go back up there after I beat King Boo. It's like
Yeah, you do. You have to go back up there a couple times, I'm pretty sure.
It's so hard.
Sorry to
I'm trying to
be
do.
the bearer of bad news. The bad news bearer.
I can't do it with this angle because of the controller. Look, I'm stopping. It's not me stopping. Like I'm holding the controller where I'm supposed to. Look, I'm standing right still. I don't think I can do this one because my
There's 2
controller
stars
with the
up there,
column.
unfortunately.
I swear to God, I can't do this because of the controller. If there was a way to move the camera system in this game.
Gosh darn it to heck. Yippee.
This is so hard. Yeah, there's no way I can make this jump. It's just scientifically. I can't do that because I'm putting it in a live stream. I need a real N64 controller for this. But I don't have any adapter to like hook in
I'm
an
gonna
actual
boot it
one.
up on like my Switch handheld right now and do it.
Don't do that! It's enough Tyler
Why
did
not?
that. I'm trying really
Tyler
hard.
said I did it with the Switch controller. Do you mean the Pro controller or like the N64 controller that they
No, it's an
released
N64 controller that goes on. It's not for the Switch. It's a USB one.
No,
Like I was gonna.
Tyler said in the chat I did it with the Switch controller. Not sure which one he means.
It's probably the. Actually, it would be the Switch controller because I think he'd know. I think he'd call it the N64 controller if he. This is the hard. I'm telling you, man. There's something wrong with my fucking control. Look, I'm pressing the button. I wish I had the camera on so I could show you guys. I'm pressing down right, and I'm not going anywhere. Please,
Yeah,
God.
mine. Where is it? Super Mario
Please,
64.
God.
It's me.
I can't use the column, unfortunately, because my fucking. I absolutely
You're
cannot
gonna have to
use
do
the
this
column.
jump multiple times if you struggle to get the star on the roof of the mansion.
I know about that. It's really fucking bullshit. They don't just hand you the star in this game and you're done with your objective.
You
They didn't know what they were doing.
Bullshit.
You know, it's bullshit.
What
This
were
is-
they thinking?
Oh my god, what am I gonna do? I can't admit defeat here. I
I'm gonna go
need
do
that
it.
new controller. I'm telling you, man, I can't use the column because of my fucking controller to... Do you want me to just shatter the controller? Because I'll do it right now on stream.
Clear the controller. Which star are you doing? Is it the Big Boo's balcony?
No, yes, actually, star number 5.
I'll do it on this
But
one.
I think...
Alright, go upstairs.
I don't think I can make this a stream highlight anymore because this is embarrassing.
It's embarrassing. Oh,
I'm telling you, man, I
didn't do it on
can't.
my first try.
I'm telling you, man, it's hard. Not as hard as I'm making it out to be, but it would be hard even with a good controller.
It is hard, yeah. I did it. Third try.
Third time's the... I'm
Yeah, try
300
holding it.
times the
Try.
charm.
What I did is I jumped off the column in the corner, and I like held right after I jumped.
Well, I can't use this one because if I do that, then I'll just be moving down right, and I can't because the controller won't register. Like right now, I'm holding down right, and it's not. That direction just does not work. Is there a way to like just super jump? Because this is bullshit. I just want the fucking star. I want to fight King Boo, damn it!
Yeah, okay, I can do it pretty easily. It's like you go in the corner.
I can't because of the
go to
controller.
Are you sure?
I can't do the corner because of the controller. Look, I'll prove it to you.
Why not?
Let me show you. I'm gonna press down right. I've come to a complete stop, and I'm holding it directly down right. Do you see where I've stopped? Because I'm pressing down right on the controller, and I can't do it that way. I have to do it the old-fashioned way.
Hold up and to the right.
No, it's not like that. I can do that, but it's this one direction because the joystick. I guess I've been hard on it or something.
One direction. Hard.
Imagine playing Mario 64
like...
with only 7 directions. I'm telling you, man, it's the controller. Please, God.
Yeah, it might be. Because I've done it like 6 times in a row now.
I'm telling you, man, I can't. I'm doing everything, but I can't get it with this controller.
Go into the corner.
I can't do the goddamn controller. Don't make... I can't do it because the goddamn... I did it for like 10 minutes. Let me try it again, but it's not gonna work.
Let me see.
Goddamn Mario hugging the goddamn wall. Look, I can't backwards side. I can't do that jump.
You do a side jump.
Let me show you. Okay, I can do this. I can do that just fine. Over here, no luck because I have to press down right. Thank Christ. I did it by pressing right and then left. I pressed right and then down left. Not down left.
Yippee!
Praise God. Praise Jesus of Nazareth, the Holy Son, the merciful Messiah.
Ahmed is popping off in the chat. Just like, yo! Congratulations.
I gotta kill King Boo now.
That is big boo to you.
Yeah.
Oh man, I just tried to ground pound him and he just freaking vanished under me. Alright, get over here, Mr. Boo.
Please, heaven, Christ above, let me get up there.
Lord Jesus. Crumbons.
Oh, please, Jesus, no. I didn't believe hard enough.
Yeah, King Boo would never go out looking like that without his crown.
I didn't believe hard enough.
Crownless.
There, I did
Mark,
it because...
you're a little late.
Well...
You're a little late with the congrats. He fell off.
No, I can do it now. I just didn't know I could do it like this. I thought I had to do it like diagonally, but I can do it. I did it there a minute, but it was so fucking hard with this controller. Okay, I'm gonna go... Hold on a minute. I gotta do right and then up. Left, right, up. Hold on a minute.
I know Ahmed would absolutely get behind what Mark just said. I like big boos and I cannot lie. I like big boos.
That's really funny. Did you know about Marcy from
You can't talk to me unless they're square. The king.
Marcy from that draws the Sonics real good.
What's who's Marcy what?
Marcus Larry is like a gender... I'm trying to think. I think they're gender fluid. He likes fat guys for some reason. I mean, I'm not trying to kink shame, you know, I'm just saying that he likes big guys.
The big boys.
I like big boys, he says.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot because I was talking. I gotta do the actual jump now. I forgot how to do this. It's just so fucking hard. What are you doing in the background, by the way? Are you, like, clicking through Twitter?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, that sounds alright. For, this cursed stream of ours. Look, I did it again! A second chance. It's something I've never gotten before.
Let's go.
Not even from my parents. I overshot it. Can you believe it? It's like when Ace Ventura realizes he fucks up.
Oh.
Ace Ventura realizes he fucked. I overshot it. I was trying really hard to get all the way up there. This is so hard. This is no longer my favorite level for the record. I'm just embarrassment.
What 64 game should I play?
Play Super Duper Mario Rainbow Factory again.
Oh boy, that's my favorite. Like you said again, as if I've played that game before. Like, oh man, I love Super Duper Mario Rainbow Factory. That's a classic.
Not to kink shame, but what's up with those FNAF animatronics in high school and shit?
What?
Brian Grip, you're supposed to be like, what the fuck?
What the fuck? It's like, okay, you didn't make the roleplay clear enough. You need to say, okay, Sean, you're Brian Griffin. And you need to say, what the fuck?
Okay, I've lost my momentum now. I can't figure out how to do it.
Speaking of momentum, Tyler says you should play Sonic and Mario 64.
Maybe I should. Maybe I shouldn't. It would be too fast. This game is already fucking fast as shit. Look at what's happening on this goddamn screen right now, guys. I'm sorry for swearing and taking the Lord's name in vain, but motherfucker, you know?
Mark says, "Who starts a conversation like that? I just sat down."
No, that's a Family Guy reference too. He's like,
yeah.
"Who the fuck starts a conversation like that? I just sat down."
Yeah.
My mother would be so proud of me for this moment.
For quoting Family Guy?
No, for getting this fucking star not after an hour.
Yeah.
Did you see that bullshit? I made it all the way up there, and then I...
Did you see that, Mom?
Look at it.
Hope you're
Look
proud.
at it. Look at it. I fucking knocked into the wall, and I fucking...
Yeah, that's good.
I think I might have to admit defeat here. I got the star. It just didn't count it. It decided it's not canon.
It decided it's not part of the canon.
Yeah, that star's not canon. I would have gotten it by now if it was canon. It's kind of like that one level I did a while back, like the last stream in Jolly Roger Bay, the very first one. Where you're like, just hand me the fucking star already, God.
Come on,
So
God,
fucking
give me the
hard
star.
with the controller. This is so hard. Please, God, no! This is so fucking hard with the controller. Thank Christ, the third chance.
The Reginald Cosmic Canon is absolutely insane.
I forgot to long jump.
You need to know the lore. Like that
I
part-
can't
that
believe I
time when he
forgot the
forgot
long jump. I was already committed to the jump, and I'm like, oh shit. I could have probably saved myself. I don't know. This is disgraceful, man. I like how there's no enemies to stop me. I'm It's so fucking hard with the controller. I should have led with that in this stream that, like, I bought a new controller on eBay and it's coming. Actually, I did mention that earlier. He keeps hugging the wall where I don't want him to.
Oh, it says, I didn't expect such severe boggling in this stream. Do you get it, Sean? Do you get the reference? I do. I love the reference.
God!
Inside joke.
Oh, Seeger. I keep bumping into the other column. It doesn't do any good. Holy shit! I just didn't have to dive. That's all I had to not do. Please, Jesus. Oh, thank God. We're just gonna go over here. Praise! Praise be! That was so fucking hard.
Sorry, I'm typing. It's probably really loud.
I don't know. I don't hear it. Never again. Oh my God, I gotta do 2 more stars after that to round it out. I don't want that to be the finale to this stream. Holy fuck.
Did it. We beat the King Boo. And then Tyler says, now go back up for the 2nd star.
No!
No!
Let's do, I'll do this. I'll do the red coin thing in Bowser in Darkland or whatever. Shut up, Bowser. I already beat your ass. I'll only reset so I could beat your ass the 7th time. That's kind of an original from me. Well, I can't do this mission either because of the controller unless I... Well, actually, this one lets me move the entire controller. So. I can't do it with the controller. I'd have to move the camera every fucking time I jump. Well, I almost did that. I almost got 1 coin. Please, God, not a game over. I get 17 lives, please, God. I'm praying.
Tyler says, yeah, I would choose a different one. You trying to go for the red coins in this level?
Yeah, I am.
Jeez.
There,
Ridiculous.
I did that one. I can't do this one because of the controller. I'm gonna have to stop the stream or something. Has it been 2 hours?
It has been 2 hours.
Holy shit on a pogo stick. This is awful. I apologize.
Holy pogo stick. What?
I don't know. I didn't want to take the Lord's name in vain again.
Yeah.
I'm a holy boy. I don't know. Should I thank the guys for the stream and just call it an end here until I get my goddamn... Well, I said it anyway, but, you know. That was so fucking exhausting. Well, thank everyone for coming, because that sucked ass. I'm so embarrassed. I'll never live that one down.
No, it was funny. Whenever you're bad at a video game on stream, it's funny, you know?
Not for an hour. Jeez.
I don't think it was an hour for that one jump. Maybe like 30 minutes.
It was definitely 30 minutes, because I would not have... There was no reason for that.
Yeah.
Alright, thank you both for coming, Tyler and Sean, and... not that song. My God, you mix it up again. Thank you, Mark and Tyler, for showing up, and thank you, Ahmed To. Ahmed To.
Ahmed To. His name is Ahmed.
Ahmed. Ahmed?
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, man. Yeah. Thank you, Mark. Bye. See
Thank
you,
you,
everyone.
everybody.